All right, so today we're going to be talking about everything around website conversions and how to really unleash the potential that you have with your Fencer Deck website. So I am your host, Alex Danner, and we're going to be covering a lot of things. Here's some of the main ones is going to be really the critical elements for enhancing conversions for your website. Also, we're going to be talking about your customer avatar and how to create that. And then we're going to be going through some examples of how to optimize your website for conversions and give you some real things that, some real examples that you can go based off of to improve your own. All right. So, who am I and why should you listen to me? So, my name is Alex Danner, and I am the owner and founder of Fence and Deck Marketers, which is a digital marketing agency that only works with fencing and decking companies. Been doing SEO and digital marketing for a pretty long time, and about 10 years now between that and website development. And Fence and Deck Marketers, if you're curious why, because I get asked this pretty often, why I was created, just for these types of companies. My legacy agency, the original agency I had, would kind of work with everybody. So instead of working with everyone and being able to scale better and just basically make it easier to scale the business and deliver better results, decided to niche down and chose fencing and decking because I was already working with these types of clients and was getting good results. And then also just been doing quite a bit of fence work in my lifetime too, just on my property in Pennsylvania where we have 300 acres of high deer fence, which is about 10 feet tall. So there's always trees falling on it and stuff that needs to be fixed. But met a lot of great people in these industries as well. So happy with that decision. It's been great, kind of meeting everyone in there and networking and kind of connecting with people in this industry as well. Okay, so like I said, it only works with fencing and decking. Fence and Deck Marketers only works with fencing and decking businesses. And if you're curious, kind of the services we do, it's going to be everything, including website development, pay-per-click advertising, through Google Ads. We do social media posting. We also do Facebook ads, and we also do Google Local Services ads. So, kind of the main ones I would say to help generate leads for fencing and decking. All right, so kind of the whole overview, I guess, of all the marketing efforts that we do for clients is going to be based around this omnipresence marketing system. So there's three principles to it. The first one is maximizing your opportunities. So you really need to get as many opportunities, as many leads coming in the door as possible. There's a lot of ways to do that. I just mentioned quite a few, SEO, Google Ads, Facebook ads, social media. There's all kinds of ways to get people to come to you. But you need to make sure you just have as many coming in as possible, and then also brand impressions. So making sure that people know your business, know the brand. There's lots of ways to do this as well, and then maximize conversions, which is going to be the main focus of today. Just talking about how you can actually convert these people. Not just have a bunch of leads, but not actually close them or get them to call and reach out for um, a inspection. So basically, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And kind of with marketing, there's always a problem. I think everyone on our team could emphasize that too. There's always something. There's always things changing. So I would love to hear at this point if you could put anything in the chat for any problems that you see with your websites, any problems or just your marketing in general, not just your website, but any kind of problems that you see with your marketing, put that into the chat, and that'd be great. And just to get, I guess, the wheel spinning a little bit, if you're wondering, what the potential problem could be. Some popular ones we hear, and I see M put on here, not much traffic on the website. Yep, that's definitely a common one. Also, could be your website's just old and outdated. Maybe it's not optimized properly, or maybe you're running ads and they're just not converting. So there's all kinds of things that can happen. But I'll give you a second if anyone else wants to post in there. So Yana said numerous postings but no conversions. So I'm assuming you're referring to social media. Yeah, social media is it's important. It's just not one that you can kind of expect to consistently get leads. Out of all the ones that we do, it's kind of the last one that I recommend in terms of like seeing a direct result. Because if you do things like SEO or Google Ads, you'll be able to see a lot more leads coming in, whereas social media is kind of more about like staying top of mind. But okay. All right. So one of the common problems we see with marketing, it is a big investment. So you have to make a substantial investment in a lot of cases, depending on your goals, the size of your business, of course. But um, we generally see, and what we also hear from the small business administration is 3 to 8% of gross revenue is what should be invested into marketing, and that's based off of the goal that you're actually going after. So, say you're going from 1 million to 2 million, that 3 to 8% should be, based off of that 2 million. And then, we have clients that'll go quite a bit more than that, as high as 10 or 12, depending on how aggressive you want to get. But that's generally what we see. And, if you're not used to spending money on marketing, it's a pretty big eye-opening experience, I guess, to see if you have to pay, thousands of dollars to marketing, and you're used to just going based off referrals. It can be pretty scary to go there. It's a pretty tough pill to swallow. Another common problem that we see is, you're getting traffic, but you're not getting leads. So basically, sometimes you'll see, and I see this every once in a while when I'm doing some kind of audit or just looking at websites, is you get a lot of traffic. You can see people through Google Analytics. People are going to the website, but you're just not getting enough leads. So one example I can think of, it was business in Dallas Fort Worth area, and when they joined us, they look at the website, we do the audit, that kind of thing. And you can see that they're ranking for all these keywords and they're getting all this traffic, and it's a lot more traffic than some of our clients that are getting a lot more leads. So we're kind of wondering what's going on. But using these tools, you can see that the reason is they're ranking for informational keywords, bottom or top of the funnel searches. So people looking for like the pros and cons of different types of fencing, or differences between different deck board manufacturers, things like that. Just a standard informational search. So that's definitely not bad. It's good to have traffic, and that's a signal to Google. But if you're doing that, but you're not ranked for the main keywords that do convert, like fence company near me, deck builder in city state, fencing contractors, that kind of thing, you're really going to be in a bad position, because it's not going to, those are the keywords that lead to leads. So the more your website's optimized, the more your Google listings optimized for those keywords that lead to conversions, the better off you're going to be. Okay. One other one that is always, I guess, it's hard for people to gauge is, the low ROI. If you're going to spend money on marketing, that's one thing. If it's actually an investment, you can tell that you're getting a return on it, but that can be hard to tell for some people if you're not really sure how to, monitor this basically, and tell like how many leads you're getting, tracking that ROI too. If you're not getting an ROI, it's not clear to you, or it's not explained to you by a marketing agency, then and by the way, you kind of have to have the other piece of like a CRM that shows you if it actually converted to no, so you can see the number of leads, but it's helpful to have a CRM that shows the actual revenue too, so you can know what those leads came to. But I get it. If you're not really sure, it just kind of seems like you don't really know what you're getting. And some people might think, hey, we might get better results from other offline strategies, print marketing or home shows, that kind of thing. But I can promise you that this digital stuff that we'll be showing you, everything related to marketing, will show you kind of how that works and how you can tell the ROI. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you're not getting leads, you're not making money off the investment, there's no point in doing marketing. That's going to lead to failure, not growing the business. So the really important piece here that, the whole webinar is based off of is your website. So you need to make sure you have this set up properly, make sure it's built to convert. The website's got to look nice. Of course, you don't want some like sloppy looking website, but if it's not set up to convert people, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot. People are going to judge your website against competition. So you want to make sure it kind of stands out, but then you also want to make sure if they get to your website, it's very clear how to contact you. It should be painfully easy to contact you. And you want to be able to say, all right, if you got this many visitors coming to the website each month, you need to convert as many of them into actual leads as possible. You need to, when people come to your website, you need to show them that your business is trustworthy, show why you're the right person for the job, make them feel at ease, show the respect that you will, show to their property if you're doing work on their fence or deck. You want to put their mind at ease, and we'll go through this a little bit more, but the whole idea is just to dispel any concerns, about scams or dishonest practices, because there are some out there, sadly. Okay, so once you have all this kind of built up and is generating, and we'll go through some specifics here in a sec, that's going to lead to that momentum, that consistent growth. Marketing is not magic, even though I'm sure you get bombarded with emails and calls from marketing companies that kind of promise the moon and say, there is some magic secret, but there's not. You really have to have a good strategy, that's tailored to your business, your area, your industry, and then be ready to make little changes, because something that you're doing in Dallas, Texas might not work as well in, Westminster, Maryland, where I am. So you got to always continuously improve, not just kind of set it and forget it. Okay, so at the end of the day, success, what we want to see is, the phone's actually ringing, your salespeople closing, all the crews are busy, business is booming. That's what we're looking for. So put a 1 in the chat, make sure everyone's still with me. And if that's your top priority, you want to get more leads. That's kind of the problem, more leads and generate more business. Put a 1 in the chat if that's your top priority. The website is the hub of everything. So pretty much everybody was going to go to your website before they decide to start working with you. So whether it's Facebook ads, whether you're doing social media posting, if you do YouTube videos, even if you're purchasing leads from HomeAdvisor or Thumbtack, more than likely they're going to go to your website and see if you're real, because people are worried about getting scammed. So they want to make sure it's a real business. So you have to have that website set up. Same thing goes with offline, billboards, flyers, signs. If I get a flyer in the mail, around this time, I usually get a lot in the springtime. So I always go and actually make sure it's a real website. Always I'm going to be judging the website, if it's some like terrible looking thing where, you have to pinch and zoom on my phone, definitely not going to be working with them. I know I'm probably a little bit biased too, but that's how most people think, though. It's a reflection of your business. If you don't have a good website and you start doing all these other types of marketing, it will for sure hinder your results. You're not going to get as good a results as you would. And there's just a lot of people out there that like doing extensive research, especially on something that's expensive, like a fence or, a deck especially. So they're like me, I want to know all the little details, research the company, be very extensive, and check reviews, that kind of thing, before I figure out who I want to work with. So you got to make sure that's all set up properly. Okay, so to kind of give you an example, I love telling this example because it just hammers home, why your website should convert better or why it's important. So in scenario 1, let's say you have 500 people come to your website. So you go on Google Analytics, you see that 500 people are visiting every month, and say that your website converts at 5%. And that leads to 25 calls, leads that come to you. And then say you convert at 30%, so when you go out and do the sales call, say you convert around 30, that's pretty common. That's going to lead to 7 jobs. And for example purposes, say you have $2,500 as your average profit, that's going to lead to $17,500. So if you're in scenario 2, where you have a website that's converting, it's set up properly, it's optimized, say you have that exact same amount of people, 500 visitors, and then say that was then 15%, which is very realistic if you are doing a good job. That's going to be triple the calls or 75 calls or leads. The conversion's not going to change. So you're converting 30% of those 75. That's going to be 22. And then same profit, 2,500. That's going to be 55,000. So you can see just the jump that you see from just having a website that's optimized properly. So if you have a website that's old, doesn't look very good, you update it, you set it up to convert, it's going to be a huge jump. And just, you'll be able to pay for that very quickly. I mean, most websites are, anywhere from 3,500 to 10,000, I'm sure, but not what we charge. But I know I've heard things like that. So you can imagine, even if you paid it on the higher end, if it's doing a much better job, that's going to mean a lot more money for you, and you'll get your money back. Okay. So now I want to go into the specifics of how you actually optimize it, what you can do for the website to get better conversions. And I'm going to go through 10 critical elements to enhance your conversion. Number one is getting the basics in order. So I'm going to show you an example here. Let me bring something up for you. Okay, so number one is going to be getting the basics in order. So having a big phone number in the top right corner is really important. Having that there. People read in kind of a Z pattern, so they go, from here to here, then down to down. So you can kind of see this text makes a Z pattern. That's kind of how studies shown, actually work. But you got to have the phone number in there, have it nice and big like that. Also, free estimate buttons are a great idea. So you can see here, like the schedule now button in the top right-hand corner. But the whole idea is no matter where they are on the page, make it effortless for how to contact you. Having big call to actions throughout the page is going to lead to more conversion. So you also want to think about, people that might not be as good with technology. It's crucial to have it be obvious. So that way, no matter where they are on the page, they don't have to think about how to navigate to the contact page, or someone that's not as tech savvy. I always think about my dad whenever I think about that. He's older, and he can't figure anything out on websites. I mean, absolutely nothing. So I figure if I can do anything that he can figure out, I'll be good to go. So I always kind of make it as painfully obvious as possible, basically. All right. And then basically, I guess just to kind of bring home the point, the phone number is just crucial. So as you scroll down here, as you go through the website, this should always be showing. The website should always, or sorry, the phone number should always be showing. So that way there's always a way to contact you. Let me go back to the slide here. Okay, so special offers is another one. So if you're talking about, this is just an example of, say you're on a deck builder page. If you offer any kind of specials, you can put that on there too. In this case, 1,000 off, 2,000 off, or $100 off, depending on the package. You can have deals like that on there as well. Mobile optimized. If your website's not mobile optimized, do that as soon as possible, please. And then also contact forms, having those on every page is really important too. So some of the additional ones here. So additional critical elements, giving them the option to book online. So we have several clients that are hooked up with My Salesman. So if we look at this, fence budget tool, if they click on the My Salesman, this link here, they're able to fill it out that way. That's good. So that way someone can schedule it themselves and kind of get an estimate. I think with My Salesman, they allow scheduling. I'm not entirely positive, but I know you can at least book the appointment, but you can use things like Calendly. There's all kinds of scheduling software out there. Service Titan's another one. But aside from kind of the design of the website, it should speak to your target avatar. So we're going to talk about that in a second here, how you can really speak to your target customer and attract the type of customer you want. Authentic images. So making sure that you are using actual images of the work that you've done, your team members, all throughout the website. You can use video as well, especially if you can get videos of the owner talking or maybe work being done. That's a great idea. Leverage social proof too, actually showing the reviews on there. So we'll be going through each of these in a little more detail. Okay, so out of all those, which of these do you think would have the biggest impact, or the most positive results for your business specifically? So adding the phone number, offers, making it mobile friendly, contact forms, images. Put in the chat which one you think would have the biggest result for you, or what you would think would be your number one priority. I guess like an analogy or kind of a way to explain the importance of that is to say, so this is just a quote, if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. So you need to have kind of a better understanding of what exactly the customer you're trying to attract, what their wants are, their needs are. So that way you can structure the website in a way that sells to them specifically. And then this is kind of how you set up your customer avatar. So when you do this, you want to lay out your pains and frustrations, fears and implications, goals and desires, dreams and aspirations. I'll go through some examples of this here in a second. All right, so an example of some demographics for your ideal customer. Everybody wants those better customers that are willing to pay more, less tire kickers, that kind of thing. So here's some example demographics. You have a homeowner, of course, 35 years or older, more likely to be able to afford it. Typically male, sometimes female, married with 2 to 3 kids, head of the household, 100,000 in annual household income, family oriented, reliable, easily frustrated. I think we all have that trait sometimes. Likes to please people, expects the same in return. They live in the suburbs, upper middle class type neighborhood, interested in helping out the community. Some of their frustrations might be, their fence is damaged, needs replaced. They need someone immediately to kind of inspect it and get quick estimates. This is something that they want to happen fast if it's a repair. On the decking side, it's a little bit longer, of course, and fencing, a little bit longer too if it's an installation. But they're busy. Everybody's busy these days, busier than ever. So they don't have the time to deal with it, or they don't think they do. So they want something to come out there and kind of solve their problem. But always they're going to be worried about it costing too much, or having serious consequences in that. And then some of the things they might be fearing, being ripped off or overcharged, maybe just paying too much, or they could have got a better deal somewhere else. The yard gets damaged when you're installing the fence or deck. Waiting around forever. I think we've all done that, been told if there's a window of like 5 hours, it's tough. It's annoying to have to wait that long, especially if you're working. And then just coordinating with the fencing or decking company, that can be a pain sometimes, or at least that's what they perceive. And then, just having someone come out, do this quote, and it's more than they can afford. And that's always going to be a potential problem for some. But you also want to go into their goals, their desires, what they actually want when you're writing content. So what they want, of course, they want to get it replaced or fixed. They want to entertain on their new deck if it's for a deck. They want to enjoy it, show it off to their friends and family, be able to drink some beers on the porch or whatever. On the deck. If it's a fence, keeping their pet inside the fence so that it doesn't run away or get hit by a car. Keeping the home kept well, look good for friends and family. They want more money, more income, more wealth. They want to live in better areas, keep their kids happy, nice car, healthy, successful, a lot of the same ones that everybody has. Having their friends and family approve of what they have done, their family proud of them, that kind of thing, and overall peace of mind. So these are the things you can really think about when you're writing this content, to kind of play towards that and really show them you understand what they're actually looking for. Okay, so when it comes down to writing the content, here's some things that you can throw in there that really emphasize, or I guess really stand out, that kind of gets people to convert. So when you're writing that content, based off the avatar, here's some things you can kind of throw in there. whether it's a big checklist that kind of stands out or whatever. But having an estimate in 24 hours is crucial. Also, virtual estimates. We have some clients that do that. So that's something that stands out a lot because not many are doing it. Financing, if you're offering that, if somebody needs a finance, having that option. Trustworthy and experienced team. Someone if they're worried about the team members not doing a good job or leaving a mess. Lifetime warranties, always stress the warranties, whether it be product or workmanship, whatever. Always want to highlight that. If you're locally owned or family owned, tell them that as well. You just want to make sure that you're letting them know that you're the one that can do the job best. You can actually achieve the result that they want. Okay, so on top of the content, we've been talking about text and how to talk about the content specifically and how to write it, but you also want to make sure you have content that's about the company, the owner, so they kind of have an idea of what exactly you're all about, how the business got started. You should also be using images of the owner, team members, action shots, guys working, wrap trucks. You can see these examples here. Jobs that you actually did, avoid stock images. They don't look, they look terrible most time. So, take pictures after every job so you can put them on your website. Leverage social proof. This one can't be understated enough, and it's really easy to do as long as you have reviews. Putting the reviews on the website on every page, make sure it's on every page. So that way, no matter where they are, they can see the reviews. They don't have to go to Google, but they can see this widget that shows that it's actual Google reviews. But reviews are crucial too, because there's stats that show, exactly how important they are. And they say that people trust online reviews more than they trust recommendations from friends or family members. So I was pretty blown away when I heard that. And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I guess that's true, because if you look at, Amazon, for example, I search for a product. Even if I get a reference from a friend or family, I'll search that product that they told me, and then I'll just type in that keyword and look at other options there, just in case I find something that they don't. Also, if you get a referral from a friend or family, then maybe they just haven't had the issue happen yet. So if it's they had a great experience and they just opened it out of the box, I'm not going to care as much about that versus later down the road. So same thing with decking or fencing. If you just got a new fence or a deck, it's always going to look great. But if you have someone that has problems later on or whatever, that's why people trust the reviews online so much. So you really just want to try to get as many reviews, more reviews than your competition, better reviews. That's really going to be king. High ratings with lots of reviews. Okay, so I touched on this one a little bit, having the offers. So if you're doing specific types of services and you're running offers for them, put that on the website page too. Limited time discounts, add-ons, really anything that will, get their information, allow them to reach out. That can help as well. Again, if your website's not mobile friendly, you got a lot of issues. That's the number one thing you would want to fix, get a website rebuilt that is, because most people have a phone now. It's 7.3 billion. So it's 91% of the world population, which is pretty insane. And most are looking for local businesses on their smartphone. So they say 3 out of 5 customers search for that. And if somebody has a bad experience, like a slow website or they're just confused or whatever, 46% of mobile consumers will turn to the competitor's site. So make sure that website's optimized, working fast, so you don't lose that lead. Okay, pretty standard one, but often missed, surprisingly, having a click to call button. So let me show you another example here. Sec. Let me show you another example website. Oops. So, having click to call buttons is important, as you scroll through there, the phone number, actually being able to click this and call it. You can see a pretty common theme with our websites because we do test for conversions. That's why we have some similar elements. They're not all the same website, but there are some things that we know help convert. So having that click to call button is really, really important. So make sure you're including that on your website. Okay, so some of the key ideas, this is kind of a recap of what we went over so far. Um, you need to have authentic images of your team, the homepage and throughout the website. Ideally, images of the whole team that actually I'll show you another good example of this. So having those authentic images of the team is a great idea. Hire a photographer to take some professional photos. You might be able to do it yourself, just kind of, depends. So having some pictures of, in branded t-shirts, clothes like that, that's a great idea. Having a separate page for the owner as well is a really good idea too. So something like this, highly recommend doing that. Video elements, if you're clever with video, it's a great idea to do videos when you're out on the job, talking about the job. Also the online reviews, we talked about that. Make sure that's on every page. You can see here with, all these pages, we put the reviews on every page. So no matter where they are, it'll show. And then the basics, phone number, web forms, credibility symbols, those are crucial as well. So having, things like the Angie's List Super Service Award on here somewhere. Yeah. If you're a Better Business Bureau, like A+ Better Business Bureau, you can put that on there as well. Update the calls to action. So as you're writing content about, it speaks to your customer avatar, also have the calls to action that represent that too. The offers we talked about, you can do live chat if you have someone that can manage it. So that way, if they're, get your website and they reach out, you can have someone that responds. That one's a little bit tougher to do. You have to make sure you have someone that's really on top of it, but it can work. And booking online, My Salesman, that's another good idea. Okay, so I'm curious of everyone here. Okay, Daphne said, what if the business is good, but no one is willing to put a review out there? So that's a great question because that's very, very common. The whole idea behind reviews is you got to have a system in place and you got to make it a company-wide initiative. So if the whole team's not on the same page, you're not going to get many reviews. I've created SOPs for this that I can send to you. If anyone's interested in like the best practices for that, just email me at alex@deckfencemarketers.com and I'll send you it over. But basically, you have to start the process right from the beginning. Right when you're doing the estimate and you kind of close the job, ask them, if we do a good job, would you leave a review? Come to them when the job's done, be like, you said you would leave this, would you? Ask them to leave a review right on the spot. That's kind of the best way. But if you can also do emails and texts, you can do follow-up calls to get those. But if you're just sending, one email to ask for a review, you're not going to get good results. You're going to need to do a lot more than that. But good question, Daphne. But if you could put a 1 in the chat, if you feel your website is optimized for conversion at this point, put a 2 in the chat if you think it could use some work and it's not optimized. So 1 if it's good, 2 if it needs help. So I see a couple 2s. All right. Yep, another 2. All right, so we got a few 2s in here. So I want to give you an example. I already showed you this website a little bit, but I want to kind of show you some of the conversion elements, as an example here. So this is a company in Dallas and Fort Worth. You can see as we go through, the phone number is sticky, it's blinking. The header's sticky as well. It stays with the page as you scroll down. Also, you can see there's a lot of pages for every type of job that they do. So every type of fence job that comes in here, all the gate stuff, they're all included in here. And then each one of those is optimized for conversion too. They have the contact form, all the buttons and things like that. So each one of these individual pages is set up properly, has enough content on it. And then you can also see this free estimate button here. It scrolls with you. This shows on mobile too, so it's even better on mobile. You can see actual images of the jobs they completed. So all the different, wood, chain link fence, these are actual jobs they did. Also the links here. So if somebody's interested in wood fence, they click learn more, it goes to the wood fence page. That's important as well. And then the testimonials you can see here, those are including all the testimonials. Also the service areas, this outlines all the different service areas that they have. And super small, but surprisingly overlooked, having the name, address, and phone number in the footer of the website. So the name, the address, phone number, there should all be in the website. That's how Google links it to your Google listing. So if those don't match, you're not going to get as good of rankings. And then, yeah, all these pages have pretty much the same thing on here. They all have the specific type of fence and plenty of content on it. And yeah, that's how it kind of works with the conversion elements. If you install this on your website, I can promise you it's going to lead to more conversions. Just make sure to take the time, do it right, and you'll get a lot better results.
Yes. Okay. Good.
All right. Okay, so I want you to pick 3 things. So sometimes businesses, sorry, I just saw a comment. Sometimes businesses take longer in answering their phones. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a problem we see. That's pretty often. If you're not answering the phones fast enough, you got to make sure you're doing that. Using answering service is a great idea, so you don't miss calls and don't have to deal with spam calls yourselves. But out of everything we went over here, because money loves speed, money loves action, and because you took the time to actually listen to this webinar, I want you to sit down and write down 3 different things that you felt you could do better. 3 things that you could implement after this webinar and kind of commit to doing that, because all of these different elements I'm showing you, all these strategies, these are ones that we've worked over time and tested. We know they work well. So I can promise you they're going to get you better results. So if you can put that in the chat, or sorry, not in the chat, but just write it down, on your to-do list, wherever you keep notes, 3 things that you would want to do in the next 30 days to implement to get better results. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Just write those down on a notebook somewhere safe. So that way, when you get off, you can do it yourself, use it, pass it on to your team. But really, rather than just watching this, getting the information, I want you guys to actually take action and do it. All right. So I hope you guys wrote some stuff down. I hope it's, like I said, not just wasting your time watching this and then not implementing it. You got to make some changes to get better. So I hope you guys wrote that down. But this is kind of, then basically, or actually, you know what? Let me, I showed you the Premier Deck website. Sorry. I was going to show you the Premier Deck website, but I forgot I already did that. So, make sure if you can get a photographer out there to your company, take pictures of everybody. It's not going to be that much. You could even do it yourself. It's not going to be that hard. But try to get those images there. But okay, since we're at the end here, I wanted to see what you guys, what your takeaways were, what you thought kind of stuck out the most, things that what you would want to implement to make your business better. Anything you'd like to notice, share. If you could put it in the chat before we kind of wrap up here, that'd be great. M said, for me, it's making sure my website is not a scam, LOL. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't want to give off, I guess, a scam like vibe. Yeah, like you said, building credibility. Um, yeah, you don't want people coming to the website and having that in their mind, I guess. And if you don't have those trustworthy images, the owner kind of letting them know who the business is, who the owner is, that's a great way. That pretty much knocks it out. So nobody's thinking that after that. Yeah, that wouldn't be a good start if I think you're a scammer right from the start. Yana said, I want to optimize my website. Yep. If your website's not, yeah, if your website's not optimized, definitely do that. You can look at some of the examples of content we wrote. Please don't copy it, but you can kind of see how we lay it out, some of the different pages. Um, in general, having some good images, a little storyline about the business is a good idea. And then talking about whatever that specific service is. So if you're on a wood fence page, talk about, um, how you install it, what your process is, that kind of thing, because basically it's, that's what it's going to boil down to. You want to make sure every page is set up properly and, actually explains it correctly to whoever's watching. Daphne said, invest in good marketing. So yeah, I guess just making sure how to track everything properly too. So you want to make sure you're working with somebody, make sure you get some good references, talk to other customers that they've worked with. If you're working with a company, anybody that's going to be doing a good job shouldn't have a problem sharing that. And, make sure you're someone that understands, your business, and can, get the industry that you're in. If you are curious about your business, if you want help building the website, feel free to reach out. Happy to talk with you. That's our website, deckfencemarketers.com. And then the email, you can send me an email personally. Alex that's wrong. It's actually Alex at deckfencemarketers.com. Sorry about that. That's the phone number too for the business. So you can reach out that way as well. But yeah, if you are building a website, make sure you're doing it right. But at the end of the day, a website's only going to do so much if you're not doing things like SEO. If you've been doing SEO and you rework your website, you can see a big jump right from the start. But there's other ways to bring in leads and get that website to work for you. As I said in the beginning, we do all kinds of free content for fencing and decking. So social media is one that we just do a 1 minute long videos. So if you just want little tidbits, learn little things on the fly, check out social media. We do post about every day. So these are our different social media channels. We do the podcast as well every week. So we got a lot of good stuff there. That's the Fence and Deck Mastery podcast. So if you want to start listening to that, it's on every platform. So you can just go search it and have some good things there. But yeah, that's about it. I guess if there's any last questions, feel free to put that in the chat, but that's about it. That's about everything I had for you guys today.